Dust choked the morning air of New Oslo's central square, a windless bowl of cracked stone and tension. Leo Maris stepped off the transit rail, steel-toed boots crunching on gravel as his eyes scanned the broken skyline. Another quake last night. Structural reports said minor damage. The panic in the city said otherwise. He adjusted the sling on his prosthetic arm, more out of habit than discomfort, and checked the coordinates on his wristband. He had a repair assignment at Block C, but a low thrum, like chanting, tugged his attention left. Voices. Angry. Rhythmic. Ugly. He moved toward the noise. The crowd was small but growing, a semicircle of worn faces twisted in rage. In the center of their formation, back pressed to the wall of a bakery with shattered glass at her feet, stood a girl. Small. Slender. Skin-tinted lilac under layers of dust and bruises. A Valari. A child. No older than 10, maybe 11. She clutched a bag of flattened bread to her chest. Her eyes, those shimmering, pale green orbs unique to her kind, didn't plead or cry. They just watched. The first stone came from a boy not much older than her. It hit her leg. She flinched. The crowd jeered. The second struck her ribs. She staggered sideways. The third, thrown by a man with 2 clean boots and a sneer, caught her square in the temple. Blood welled. And still, she didn't cry. Leo stepped forward. He didn't speak at first. Just moved, pushing through the ring of people. Not fast. Not slow. Deliberate. Calculated. A woman grabbed his arm. "Don't get involved, man. It's not worth it." He didn't stop. The girl wavered, then crumpled against the wall, shielding her face. Leo reached her and stood over her, his broad back now the wall between her and the crowd. His voice was quiet. Measured. "That's enough." The crowd fell still. Someone coughed. He knelt and touched the girl's chin gently, tilting her face upward. "Can you walk?" She nodded, barely. Her voice was a whisper. "Yes." He turned to the crowd. "She's a child. You've made your point. Go home." Someone laughed. "That thing isn't a child. Back off, traitor." A rock sailed. Leo caught it mid-air with his prosthetic. "You want to fight something?" he said, voice flat. "Try someone who hits back." A man lunged. Leo sidestepped, grabbed his coat, and slammed him face first into the stone. Another charged. Leo swept his leg, dropped him. He didn't enjoy it. Didn't let it last. This wasn't a brawl, it was survival. But they kept coming. 2. 3. 5. One clipped his shoulder with a pipe. Another smashed a bottle near his ribs. He went down to one knee, shielding the girl, panting. "Leo Maris," a familiar voice rang out above the chaos. "Always had a thing for aliens, didn't you?" Voss Creel stepped through the dispersing crowd, flanked by men in black armbands. "You're making a mistake." Leo wiped blood from his lip and stood slowly. "You already did." Creel smiled. "That's treason talk." Leo scooped the girl into his good arm and bolted. He didn't look back. Through alleys stained with decades of soot, he moved. Over fences, beneath half-collapsed walkways, through tunnels where only rats and exiles dared breathe. He didn't stop until his legs threatened mutiny and the pounding in his ears dulled. They reached a derelict utility station beneath Block G. A rusted hatch. A hidden bolt. A forgotten maintenance hall turned sanctuary. He kicked the door shut behind them and slid down the wall, heart hammering. The girl sat opposite, cradling her arm. Her temple was still bleeding, slow but steady. "I've got supplies," Leo said, reaching for his kit. "You're lucky it didn't crack your skull." "Not lucky," she murmured. He looked up. "You stepped in." He smiled faintly. "Bad habit." She winced as he dabbed her wound. Why did they attack you? She paused. They think I stole bread, she said quietly. Leo raised a brow. Did you? Her face hardened. It was going to rot by evening. No one claimed it. He finished bandaging her, then leaned back, flexing his sore arm. What's your name? Izura, she said. Of the Valari. Leo, he replied. Of the Shut Up and Survive tribe. She gave a soft laugh. Surprised herself. He cracked a protein bar in half and handed her a piece. She took it slowly. You shouldn't have helped me. They'll come after you. They already were. She tilted her head. Why? Leo hesitated. Creel doesn't like people who ask questions. I ask a lot. Silence settled, heavy with meaning. Finally, Izura whispered, I saw something. I think that's why they hate me more now. What did you see? Creel, she said. Meeting with off-worlders. Giving them crates. Weapons. Leo went still. You're sure? I hear thoughts. Not always. Just impressions. Theirs were violent. He wants a war. Leo stared at the flickering ceiling light. A dozen thoughts firing behind unreadable eyes. Well, he muttered, that complicates things. The silence that followed wasn't peace. It was the sound before a storm. And Leo Maris had just stepped into its path. The message hit every screen by morning. Wanted, Leo Maris, traitor to humanity. Bold text. A mugshot from his military ID, complete with service medals. Below it, a headline in blood-red font. Human collaborates with alien spy. Leo slammed the terminal shut. Izura looked up from her corner of the shelter. Her skin had lost some of its color, and the bandage on her head was stained. But her gaze was clear. They're fast, she said quietly. Leo nodded, pacing the length of the rusted chamber. Creel's using this. Turning fear into fuel. We just gave him his matchstick. Is it true, she asked. That I'm a traitor? That they'll kill us now? Yes. She didn't flinch. Leo stopped moving. You should go. I won't. This isn't bravery, he snapped. It's survival. You stay with me, your odds drop. You stayed when the stones flew. Silence. A beat. Then he sighed. All right. Then we move. Outside, New Oslo was changing. Posters were torn down as fast as they went up, but the words stuck like rust. Some called him a hero in whispers. Most called him dangerous. Former neighbors wouldn't meet his eyes. Friends ignored messages. Even the vendors at the market paused, hands hovering over weapons when he passed. Izura wore a hood now. Too many recognized her species. Too many wanted vengeance with no evidence. She stuck close to Leo, walking as if gravity doubled every block. By dusk, they reached the crumbled tower of the old monorail comm hub. Leo had used it once in his cadet days, before the tech was decommissioned, left to rot with most of Earth's promises. But it still had uplink capability. He ran his palm over the cracked panel. If we can get your memories into the cloud archive, we can expose Creel. Izura hesitated. My memory, it's fractured. Images. Feelings. Not perfect. It doesn't have to be perfect. It has to be enough. He opened a side panel, rewired 2 circuits, bypassed a rusted relay. The screen blinked alive, barely. Then a crack echoed from above. Leo froze. Run. Gunfire tore through the tower's upper levels. Dust rained down. Creel's men had found them. Or someone had sold them out. Izura darted into the maintenance shaft. Leo followed, twisting through tight passages, the air thick with mold and heat. Behind them, boots thundered. Orders barked. Bring the alien alive. Kill the man. They slid through a grate into the lower tram tunnel, abandoned years ago. Leo pulled her into a niche just before a patrol passed. Are they always like this? Izura whispered. Some. Not all. She looked at him. How do you know who to trust? I don't, he admitted. Then a voice echoed through the chamber, familiar, sharp. You always did like caves, Leo. He stepped out slowly, hand near his sidearm. Naira. Captain Naira Rel, former security chief of New Oslo, stood 10 feet away. Gray cloak. Tactical boots. Gun holstered but ready. Her eyes were unreadable. You're making quite the mess, she said. Leo kept his voice low. You know Creel's lying. Of course. But the colony's scared. And scared people listen to simple men with loud mouths. We have proof. You have a scared little girl. Leo opened his coat, revealing a memory crystal. She pulled this from the scene. We just need an uplink. Naira raised an eyebrow. And what's in it for me? Leo hesitated. Your daughter. She still lives in Sector 5? Her jaw tightened. I saw your name on the relocation denial. Creel's locking out citizens with alien ties. Even half-bloods. Naira's silence was answer enough. We help you, Leo said. You help us. Naira stepped forward. I can get you inside the old council chambers. Secure systems. Public broadcast. But once you upload that footage, you'll be hunted across every sector. I already am. She looked at Izura. And her? I protect her. Naira's gaze lingered another moment before she nodded. You've got one shot. Fail, and the next time I see you, it's war. As she turned away, Izura tugged Leo's sleeve. Why do you trust her? I don't. But sometimes, surviving means trusting the lesser devil. That night, they camped in a drainage shaft beneath the chambers. Izura stared at the stars through a crack in the ceiling. I miss the music, she said suddenly. Leo looked up. Valari music? No. Earth's. He blinked. You've heard Earth music? There's a station in the refugee quarter. Jazz, I think it's called. It made my head feel like flying. Leo chuckled softly. My brother loved jazz. Played old records. Said music was proof humanity wasn't all bad. What happened to him? Leo's expression darkened. Peace rally. Creel's men opened fire. Silence. I'm sorry, Izura said. So am I. He reached into his jacket and pulled out a small pendant, simple steel, shaped like a note. He wore this. You should have it. Izura stared. I can't. You can, he said. You'll need it more than me. She took it gently, as if it might shatter. And for a long time, neither of them said a word. But in the silence, something passed between them. Not words. Not trust. Just a shared weight. The weight of survival. Of truth. Of war coming at dawn. The council chambers loomed ahead, an ancient shell of marble and steel, long abandoned by the diplomats who once governed New Oslo. Now, it was a ghost of authority, repurposed for surveillance and controlled by Creel's forces. Leo and Izura crouched in the shadows near a service entrance, scanning the perimeter. Floodlights swept the courtyard, guards stationed at every key point. No easy way in. Naira had been clear. Get to the broadcast terminal. Upload the footage. Make it public. Simple in theory. Suicidal in practice. Leo took a breath. Once I start the diversion, you move. Straight to the server room. No hesitation. Izura nodded, tucking the pendant he'd given her under her collar. And if you don't come back? He met her gaze. I will. She didn't argue. Leo checked his sidearm. He had 3 shots left. Wouldn't be enough. Didn't matter. He darted forward, keeping low, using shadows as cover. He reached a supply crate near the main gate and yanked a broken pipe from the ground. One precise strike against the security panel sent sparks flying. Alarms blared. The guards spun, weapons raised. Leo bolted left, away from the server room, drawing them toward him. The first gunshot rang out, tearing into the concrete behind him. Another ricocheted off the wall just inches from his head. He kept running, zigzagging through the maze of old buildings. Behind him, boots pounded the pavement. Perfect. Isra didn't wait. She slipped through a side entrance, moving fast but quiet. The server room was ahead, only 2 guards stationed outside. She pressed her small hands against the cold metal of the door. She could feel them. Their minds. Their emotions. Anger. Boredom. A whisper of fear. She reached into that fear, nudging it, twisting it slightly, just enough to make them doubt. A trick her mother had taught her before the war. One guard shivered, gripping his rifle tighter. "You feel that?" The other frowned. "What?" "Something's watching us." The hesitation was all Isra needed. She slipped past them, breath shallow, and into the server room. Rows of old terminals flickered dimly, their interfaces archaic but functional. She found the main console, placed the memory crystal into the reader, and started the upload. A loading bar appeared. Processing, 2 minutes. Too slow. The door burst open. Creel's men stormed in. Isra turned, hands raised, backing toward the terminal. The guards hesitated. She wasn't a soldier. She was a child. One of them lowered his gun. "Sir, it's just a kid." A new voice cut through the room. "Not just a kid." Voss Creel stepped inside. His presence sucked the air from the space. He wasn't wearing a uniform, just a simple black coat, his boots polished to a dull shine. But his eyes burned cold. He looked at Isra as if she were something scraped off his shoe. "You think this will change anything?" he said, stepping closer. "Even if you get that data out, people won't care. They want someone to blame." Isra clenched her fists. "You're wrong." Creel smirked. "Am I?" The progress bar inched forward. 75%. "You don't understand humans," he said. "They hate what they fear. And they fear you. I've just given them permission to act on it." Isra met his gaze, heart pounding. "Leo doesn't." Creel's expression darkened. "Leo is a fool." Footsteps outside. A fight. A gunshot. Then Leo staggered into the room, blood streaking his face, one arm hanging limp. He took in the scene. His eyes locked onto Creel. For a moment, neither moved. Then Creel sighed. "Maris. You should have stayed dead." Leo wiped blood from his lip. "So should you." Creel nodded at his men. "Kill him." The first soldier raised his rifle. Isra moved before she thought. A pulse of energy, invisible but heavy, surged through the room. The guards jerked back, momentarily dazed. Creel flinched, his hand twitching toward his pistol. Leo used the distraction. He grabbed a fallen rifle and fired, one shot, 2. The guards dropped. Creel, fast as ever, ducked behind a console. He fired back. Leo barely dodged. The screen behind them blinked. Upload complete. Isra grabbed the console and activated the live broadcast. Every screen in New Oslo flickered to life. Every comm device, every billboard, every security feed. The footage played. Creel's secret meetings. The illegal weapons deals. The executions. The plans to fake an alien uprising to justify war. A silence fell over the city. Then the shouts began. Outside, the crowd that had gathered turned. Some still supported Creel. But many, more than he had counted on, saw the truth. People who had lost family to his lies. People who had believed his words but could no longer ignore what was in front of them. The riot started. Leo turned to Creel. "It's over." Creel's fingers flexed on his gun. "Not yet." He lunged. Leo was ready. The fight was brutal. Quick. No wasted movements. Leo's fist caught Creel's jaw. Creel's elbow slammed into Leo's ribs. They grappled, weapons knocked away, relying on raw strength. Creel got a hand around Leo's throat, shoving him against the console. "You think you saved them?" His voice was strained, manic. "They'll turn on you too." Leo gritted his teeth. "Maybe." Then he drove his knee into Creel's gut, twisted free, and slammed his head into the steel. Creel collapsed. Leo panted, looking down at the unconscious man. He turned to Isra. "We need to go." But she wasn't looking at him. She was looking at the crowd outside. People were moving. Fast. Some still threw rocks. But others, humans, were stepping in. Shielding the aliens. Stopping the violence before it could spread. One human woman stepped in front of a Valari family. Took a stone to the shoulder. Didn't move. Another grabbed a sign and held it high. "We stand together." Isra whispered, "They're choosing." Leo followed her gaze. Maybe it wasn't perfect. Maybe it wouldn't last. But in that moment, the tide had turned. Creel had spent years convincing humanity to fear the unknown. And in the end, it had been a single human who had chosen to stand still and take the first hit. Leo exhaled. "Come on, kid." They stepped out of the council chambers. And into the new world they had just made. 3 weeks later, the square looked nothing like it did the day Leo first stepped into it. The scorch marks had been scrubbed away. The broken glass was gone. The bloodstains, real and imagined, had faded into memory. But the people remained. So did the eyes. Watching. Measuring. Wondering what came next. Isra stood beside Leo at the edge of the rebuilt plaza, a light breeze fluttering her shawl. Her skin had healed, though a faint scar curved beneath her hairline, a permanent reminder of the day the stones flew. In the center of the square, where the mob had once gathered, stood something new. A statue. Carved from quarried stone and painted in muted hues, it showed a girl, small, fragile, her hand reaching upward. Beside her, a human man stood, his figure broad but not threatening, one hand extended as if shielding her, the other open to the crowd. They hadn't sculpted weapons. Not fists. Not chains. Just two figures standing together. "Do you think it's too hopeful?" Isra asked, her voice low. Leo studied it. "It's not supposed to be perfect. Just honest." A group of children, some human, some alien, weaved around the base, laughing. None of them seemed to care where one species ended and the other began. "That's new," he muttered. Isra smiled. "So is the silence." Leo scanned the square. No chants. No banners. Just conversation. Suspicion still lingered in some faces, but it was quieter now. Softer. "Creel?" Isra asked. Leo shook his head. "Still in holding. His trial's next week. Global broadcast. No chance to spin it. He'll try. He'll fail." She paused. What happens to people like him when they lose? Leo considered the question. They become lessons. Or ghosts. Isra turned away from the statue. "I don't want to be either." "You're not." They walked together, past a vendor stand offering spice bread and coolant tea. The old woman behind the counter gave them a cautious smile. Progress. They found a bench near the reflecting pool. Leo eased himself down, still favoring his ribs. Isra sat beside him, silent for a while. "I keep thinking about what he said," she admitted. "Creel. That people fear what's different." "He was right," Leo said. But that's not the whole story. She looked at him. Fear's just one voice, he continued. It's loud. But it's not the only one. Then what's louder? Choice. Izura let the word sit in her mouth. Tasted it. My mother used to say we don't shape the world by power, but by presence. She sounds smart. She died in orbit, trying to reach peace talks. Leo exhaled slowly. Then she did shape the world. Maybe just not fast enough. Across the pool, Naira approached. No armor. No escort. Just plain clothes and a data pad tucked under her arm. They've asked to name the square, she said, offering them a small smile. Council wants suggestions. Izura blinked. You're asking us? You earned it. Leo raised an eyebrow. What are the options? Naira listed a few. All generic. All sterile. Then she added, there's a write-in option. Izura leaned forward. Then I want to name it. Naira nodded. Izura hesitated, then said, call it, the place where we stood still. Naira's brow furrowed. Unusual name. It's what changed everything, Izura said. Not the running. Not the fighting. Not the words. Just the moment we stopped running and stood. Naira typed it in without question. I'll submit it. But you know how bureaucracy works. Leo chuckled. Yeah. It doesn't. They watched her walk away. Izura leaned back. Are you staying here? Leo shrugged. For now. There's talk of forming a real peace council. They'll need people who can fix things without shooting them. And after that? He smiled faintly. Depends. On what? On who needs saving next. Izura looked out across the square. Do you think they'll keep throwing stones? Probably, Leo said. But maybe fewer each time. They sat in silence again, this time not because of fear or pain, but because there was finally room for it. For quiet. For breath. The sun dipped lower, casting long shadows across the plaza. Then a little boy, no more than 5, approached the bench. He had sandy hair and wide green eyes. He looked at Izura. Are you the girl from the statue? She blinked, unsure. Leo smiled. Yes. She is. The boy nodded, then offered her a purple flower clutched awkwardly in his fist. You look strong. Izura took it slowly, heart trembling in her chest. Thank you. He ran off. She stared at the flower for a long time. Leo stood. Come on. Where? To find some music, he said. You still haven't heard real jazz. Izura followed. Behind them, the square faded into twilight. But the statue stood tall. And the girl who once trembled in its shadow now walked beside the man who had taken the hit. Both of them changed. Both of them standing.